Cenat is receiving backlash because despite black people saying, hey, we're going to boycott Target, we're not going to do business with them anymore, they cut all of these DEI programs, Cenat and his team of streamers, AMP, they still decided to put their product in Target and do ads with them and basically promote what they have going on, a deal with Target. But let's think about this. Actually, first we're going to get into the article and then I'm going to come back with some thoughts. It says AMP, the streaming group that includes Cenat, Duke Dennis, and more, faces consumer backlash after inking a deal with Target. So these are the guys. I'm sure you guys have seen them. If you know who Cenat is, you probably know who his crew is. Target's latest collaboration with a popular streamer group is sparking controversy. AMP, one of the top streamer groups in the world, has scored a deal with major retailers for its unisex personal care brand. They have some sort of care brand, and Target says, hey, we like what you guys have going on. We're going to bring you into the store. The group, which also releases videos on YouTube, includes Cenat, Duke Dennis, Phantom, Agent 00, Chris Next Door, blah, blah, blah. Not blah, blah, blah. I'm not trying to disrespect those guys, but it's a lot of people. Chris Next Door and I'm Davis. They have collectively earned millions of dollars. Cenat alone earned $8.5 million over the past year, which earned him a spot on Forbes' 25 top creators list, according to the publication. So Cenat, he's making a lot of money. They're growing. They have a content house, and they have even more people than were named here. So those dudes, they're making a lot of money. And when you generate that type of attention, what do people tell you? Launch a product, start a business besides streaming, like start another business. So it says together, the group leveraged their platforms, which garner over 1 billion monthly views, to launch Tone in February 2025. Tone is formulated with natural and clean ingredients and is dermatologist tested, according to its website. Additionally, it's now available in Target stores and on Target.com as of July 6th. And that is what he's receiving backlash for. He's receiving backlash for doing business with Target after black people said, hey, we're done with them. They did away with DEI. No, we're not shopping with them anymore. And we did see like Target was having trouble with their top line and bottom line numbers, right? Their revenue and their net income. But what's important to remember is why people were boycotting Target in the first place. They said, oh, these people are racist. They're taking all of these businesses out. These are black owned businesses. They gotta be racist. We're not shopping with them anymore. That was the sentiment. What's unfortunate about that mindset is we remember that they still kept Tabitha Brown there. So if they hated black people, if they didn't want to do business with black businesses, why did they keep Tabitha Brown? When you look at that, just that piece alone, you see that the logic does not make sense. Target got rid of those businesses that they invited during or they allowed to be on the shelves after the George Floyd protests because those businesses were not making them money. The reason they aligned with them in the first place is public sentiment was, hey, black people are being disenfranchised. Black people are, we saw what happened to George Floyd. And they said, hey, in order to foster good faith with the public, let's bring some black owned brands into our stores. We're going to put them on the shelves. We're going to give them a spotlight and commend them for doing it. They tried it out. They said, hey, this is not working. They had to take the stuff off the shelves. But people want to see you highlight them and promote them regardless of the fact that their business is not doing well. They don't care about the fact that Target is losing money. They just want to have representation. They don't want to actually make money. They just want the theatrics of being on the shelves. Because if the stuff was making money, Target would still sell it. Point blank, period. They don't care if you're black, you're white, you're Asian, you're Hispanic. If the stuff is selling, if it's going to make them more money, make their shareholders more money, they will put it on the shelves. So we already have Tabitha Brown. So if they hate black people, how did they get Cenat? Why did they reach out to him? Because they feel like he has as big of an audience as Tabitha Brown. They can get people in the store to buy their product. So if they're looking to foster a relationship with black people, which I don't necessarily think that they are, they're just looking at this guy with a huge platform or this team with a huge platform and saying, yo, come in our doors. Bring us some of that revenue. We'll partner with you. But if they didn't want to have partnerships with black businesses, you have to explain to me why they are partnering with Cenat. Otherwise, everything else that you say is null and void. This ex-user says Target is making it very clear they think the black community can be bought, especially through influencers. What they're missing is that the people who actually who are actually carrying out the boycott, the ones hitting their sales, aren't the type to be swayed by that. If someone had the integrity and willpower to avoid your store for 6 months, they're not running back because Kai Cenat did a live stream there. I'm inclined to agree. I'm inclined to agree with that part, with that sentiment. If somebody went through all the trouble of finding everything that they need, whether it be like tissue, deodorant, lotion, a toothbrush, if they went through the trouble of finding that stuff at other stores, they're not going to come running back into Target just because Target is doing a deal with Kai Cenat. They're just not. That's not the way this is going to work. But what I will also say is, if the people had enough intelligence and thought behind boycotting Target for their reasons and finding another place to get their products, if they just thought one layer deeper, they will understand that it hasn't been about your skin tone the entire time. It's been about the fact that we're not making money off of these products. That's what businesses exist for. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So if you're mad at Target for getting rid of the businesses, how do you justify them keeping Tabitha Brown? How do you justify them bringing on Kai Cenat? Make it make sense. It doesn't make sense. There's no way that you can explain that. Because if they hate black people, they don't bring in those businesses.